It's Wednesday. It's time for the Daily Dose with Coach Dan Day. Coach, welcome.
Thanks, Kenny. Thank you for having me.
Coach, you pick up a 41-0 victory over the University of God's Chosen. You got to play a lot of players. Can you put a price tag on the amount of reps that your entire team got on Saturday?
No, absolutely not. And that was why that game was obviously important for us. I mean, we knew, a first-year program coming up, talent-wise and playing a lot of freshmen. I mean, you knew we should be able to handle that game and come away with a victory. We knew that going in, but the most important thing for us is, as you just said, being able to get a lot of guys the ability to play. We could have easily taken a bye week this week and just practice, but you can't simulate game reps. And that was the good thing for us is, we played an opponent that they still played very hard. They just weren't, they're still young and learning how to truly play the game at a high level. So, obviously they made mistakes, but you can't simulate game experience with referees and everything being live and it still being on the line, and that was still a win or loss. That was important for us. So a lot of young guys got reps that they don't normally get to take throughout the week, and experience in our game, in the game of football, experience makes or breaks you. So it was very, very important to let those young guys that 2-3 years down the road we're counting on, they're gonna have a lot of experience that they wouldn't have had without this game.
Now that you have had time to look at things, can you highlight who our Smitty's player of the games are?
Yes. Offensively, it's pretty easy to say Hudson Featherstone. He went out there, and he was a guy that truly embraced going out there and just playing as hard as he could every snap. He had 190 yards he had quite a few carries, but was able to just churn out yards, after contact. He had a ton of yards that he just ran through, and he went out there and played hard. So Hudson was our offensive player of the week. Defensively, with a few guys that played pretty well. Nick Santos played pretty well for us defensively, but the guy we went with was Chucky Morrison. He every single time I turn around, because a lot of times, when the defense first takes the field, I'm making offensive line adjustments, so when I would finally pop up and start watching a defensive series, I felt like every time I turned my head, Chucky was running somebody down or making plays or causing havoc in the backfield. So I thought he played incredibly well, and his effort was outstanding all day long. So Chucky Morrison was our defensive player of the week. And special teams wise, obviously Martin and Gavin have kind of been stealing the show there special teams wise. But we had a guy that went out every rep he had as a young guy. Another one that took advantage of his opportunities was Chris Kale. Every special teams he was on, he had an impact. Punt, kickoff return, and especially kickoff, running down and making some big plays for us and some good tackles. He did his job, and he took advantage of reps as a freshman. So our special teams, Schmitty special teams player of the week was Chris Kale.
Good deal, Coach. Now we turn our sights to Truman State, 4-5 on the year, kind of in the same boat as we are, but they're winners of 4 of their last 5. So what are you looking forward to in that matchup for this Saturday?
Yeah, we're a similar team, and that's what's going to be fun to see the battle this weekend. We both have right now top defenses in the league, and we both have offenses that are still struggling at times to truly find their identity. So I think it's going to be a great battle. I think the biggest thing when you look at Truman and a team that coached by Coach Nesbitt is one of the, if not the top coach teams in the league. They don't make mistakes. When you pop on film, the first thing you notice right away is how hard those kids play every single snap. You look at their defense, and they don't have a lot of kids that are in the tops statistically. I think Austin Zoda is probably one kid that you can see and see a lot of production on the stat sheet, but they don't have a ton. What they have is 11 guys that play hard for each other and obviously play hard for the program and play hard for Coach Nesbitt, and they don't make mistakes. So it's going to be another absolute battle from start to finish where mistakes are going to be the story of the game. And in my opinion, I think special teams is going to play an absolutely vital role in a game that could be a low-scoring defensive battle on Saturday out in Kirksville.
Brings me to my next question. Historically, the matchup with Truman State, points are hard to come by. How do you communicate that to your team, that the discipline and the focus needs to be at a certain level when you match up with a team like Truman?
Right, and it goes back to telling them you're playing, a different level where it's about those kids not making mistakes. They know exactly what they have to do, and they can do some things coverage-wise that I know they have a lot of very, very smart athletes and guys that are committed to what they do, and they can do some things to confuse you, and they also play hard. So on our end, it's keeping things simple and telling our kids all week long, you better play fast. That's the biggest thing is keep the assignment simple on our end and play fast, because this is going to be a team similar to when we played McKendree. You talk about going out and not making mistakes because a well-coached team is going to capitalize. It's got to be the same thing for us. We can't have turnovers. Defensively, we can't have blown assignments, and special teams-wise, we can't have a lack of effort on any snap, or they're that well coached that you make one mistake, they're going to find it and they're going to take advantage. So we've got to be able to be sharp on our end on all three phases of the game.
Sounds good, Coach. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.